Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily right here on Citi TV. Now, the show is interactive, but unfortunately, there's a worldwide down, or, WhatsApp is just down all over the world this morning. So you cannot reach us through our WhatsApp line. However, do use the hashtag Breakfast Daily across all social media platforms. Maybe Facebook may not work because it's still in the Meta family, but at least on Twitter, you should be able to communicate with us and let us know what you're thinking. All right? Now, let's take a look at a report that was done by Philip Nilate, our colleague here at Citi FM Citi TV. He is a journalist with Citi News. A report that he brings us from Amasaman, again, about road challenges, something that we're becoming accustomed to hearing about every morning here in Ghana.
The protest commenced at about 7 a.m. on Monday, October 24, as the disgruntled drivers blocked some roads with ties and cement blocks to prevent drivers from plying these stretches. Some residents and passengers were left stranded because they were forced to alight from commercial vehicles they boarded to work. The situation created heavy vehicular traffic on all roads leading to 3 Junction. The police deployed in their numbers to maintain law and order and disperse the protesters.
We want the MC, the authorities to understand that we want a good road around here so that we can have a free flow.
So this particular road in question, which is Doblogono Obom Road, is just about a 14-kilometer road, you understand? And this road was constructed during the election year 2000. And within 6 months, the road is in a mess. If you go on this road right now, every 2 weeks you have to visit Abusah, and we are using small cars, taxis and stuff. And the road is very bad.
Yes.
The road is in a deplorable state. As at now, it's very, very difficult for you to use the road from 3 Junction to Accra Mamai. It's very, very difficult, but especially when it rains. Yes, so that's the situation. If someone is sick, for you to even send a person to hospital is sometimes a problem.
Some assembly members who also joined the protest called on government to re-award the contract for swift construction.
From this particular end, so Obom, it's the contractor I mentioned earlier, Memphis Metropolitan is the one working on it. In fact, after the first sailing that he did, just after a month, the road started developing potholes. When we inquired from them, he told us that it is just the primary sale. It is just the primary sale that he has done. That he will come and do 2 other layers on it. Up to date, he's not back to do it. He has left the place. And in fact, it's very bad than it was before. When you go to that of Okushibiade, that place, he hasn't even done the primary sale and he has gone.
And there you have a report brought to us by our colleague Philip Nilate from Amasaman. Some drivers, they're protesting about poor road infrastructure in the area. Now, David, I'm getting very tired of these road conversations. Day in, day out. No, in fact, if we wanted to do a road story every day, we could.
Yes. Yes.
And we wouldn't have to visit the same places.
And we could do it for 3 years running.
Straight.
Easily, without visiting any place. Without visiting any place twice. No, I think
so why are we doing this to ourselves?
No, so because what we've decided is that I think that we've just found a way to benefit from road construction politically. So we do what suits the calculations that we are doing. So it's not the betterment of Ghana that's fueling the decisions as to how we're going to approach our road construction.
It's like, oh, how many roads have been done?
So then we
look at done?
Exactly.
Who will see?
Exactly. We look at the map and we decide that what are our political ambitions for the next, couple of years, and then which areas will best suit us in terms of the calculation that we are doing. That's what I believe.
If that's what it is, then it's very sad.
It is very sad. It is very sad.
Because, and very surely we'll speak to the assembly member for the Amasaman electoral
Yeah.
area. But you see, we can't underestimate how important road network is in a country, especially one like ours,
Yeah.
that is really, really trying to become less of a service in the primary economy.
Yeah.
In Ghana, we don't play too much in the manufacturing space. We've got a lot of the primary sector, which is the raw production, raw farming, fishing, all that. And then the tertiary sector, which is more of services and whatnot. But the driver of any successful economy, we know, is the secondary economy, manufacturing. And road network is critical because once you have raw materials I need to get from point A to point B. And I'm speaking about this particular point because we are in an economic down. I mean, like,
it's a massive downturn.
How do you, anyway? Let's speak to the assembly. We'll come back to this. We don't want to keep the honorable waiting. So we have on the line Charles Abusah. He is the assembly member for the Amasaman electoral area. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my sister.
How are you doing?
Very well. I'm doing good by grace.
Good. So the road infrastructure in your area, we've seen some reports coming in from our colleague here at Citi News, particularly about a protest that was done at Amasaman by some drivers, and they're protesting because of the state of the roads, the poor state of the roads that they have to deal with in their work, in their daily activities. Now, have you heard about this? Have you seen it? And really, what's your take on it?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. In fact, let me make some quick correction before we proceed. The protest has to do with we have some 5 assembly members. We came together and organized it together with the transport operators.
Okay.
So, yes.
So you're a part of it. Okay. Yes. Wonderful. So what led you to the point where, because usually when we see citizens in Ghana protesting, then it means that you've really had enough. And it's as though your voices are not being heard and you're trying to get your voices and your concerns heard. So how did we get to this point where you had to organize a protest to get the attention that you needed?
Yes. This area we're talking about here comprises of 5 electoral areas. So we have 5 assembly members involved.
Okay.
Myself, the assembly member for Kwashikma electoral area, the assembly member for Nyansana electoral area, that of Okusibiadi electoral area, and Aikandibilo electoral area. In fact, our road, the nature of our road now, as we speak, is very terrible, my sister. I'm sure your colleague who came here will attest to that. And what broke the camel's back was that these very areas were given to a contractor by name Memphis Metropolitan Limited.
Okay.
For the past 4 years, he started work. We were thinking that things will move on smoothly. So, in fact, he did the first layer, which they call primary scale or whatever. And just after a month or 2, we started developing some potholes. But when we inquired from them, his workers and stuff, what they tell us is that it's part of their work. They want to identify where the fault will be coming from. That they will do the patches and do the second and third layer.
Okay.
So we were okay with that. In fact, but for the past 2 years, the contractor has abandoned site and left for about 3 years now. And we are not hearing anything from it. And it's something that we've been celebrating over all these years. Our chiefs, our community leaders and stakeholders always turns on we, the assembly members, as if we don't do what we are expected of us. We go to the assembly, we complain, at General Assembly, we discuss things to the extent that sometimes it gets heated to the extent that, you know what I'm talking about. So we've complained severally to all powers that be to help fix the situation. But it seems that it's all falling on deaf ears. So we decided to, come together with the transport operators, and then we informed the police, notified the police of the demonstration, and yesterday it came to pass.
So let me ask you, Honorable, if in your assembly, do you have a grader?
No.
Okay.
But this particular issue,
Yes, talk to me.
it's a very huge issue that ought to be discussed properly.
Explain.
We don't have a grader, that is a fact. But for this rules that we are talking about here, because the contractor has done the first primary store,
Okay.
there's no way
You
we can
can't,
use the
go
grader
and
on it.
grade, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
If it had been the rough type, would have even without assembly having a grader, we can
You
even
go and
hire
hire one
ourselves
and then do
work
it.
on it.
Okay.
But per each case now, we cannot do anything about it.
Right. Right. So I want to find out. So you said let me just clarify, make sure I've got it right. The contractor came in 4 years ago. So we are talking
4
about
years ago. He
2018.
started 4 years ago, but I
Started
left
4
like
years
2
and then
years
left
ago.
about 2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
But you haven't heard anything, so you don't know whether this was due to the COVID situation, because 2 years ago puts us in the height of the COVID pandemic, right? So you don't know if it had anything to do with that, if it was a financial issue. You have no idea. Nobody has said anything to you.
Yes, nobody has said. In fact, you don't even get a contractor to talk to.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in all of this, have you been able to speak to your MC, DC? I mean, has anybody, higher up the governance chain come to see the situation? Have you been able to engage them? Anything like that?
Yes, this is something that our MC is aware. In fact, it's a daily issue that we discuss. Sometimes, we get to the extent that he himself is not able to even tell us anything, because he said he's been passing our frustration to all quarters that to take care of it, and there's nothing coming out of it.
Okay. So this also means that you are not sure if the roads minister or the roads ministry is aware either.
I'm sure the road minister will be aware of this. Yes, I'm sure.
The area you're talking about, the road you're talking about, is it something that you would imagine the roads minister has driven on at least a few times?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
But at least maybe somebody within the ministry would be aware of this kind of a problem.
Exactly so.
Well, I think that the other thing that concerns me is does anybody know the whereabouts of this contractor?
And so that's why we are, prompting the powers that be to tell us the whereabouts of the contractor.
I see.
Yes. What we are hearing is that it's working elsewhere. In fact, the fact of the matter is this: I don't know what informs those decisions that our superiors took with respect to awarding contracts to some contractors. In fact, this very contractor, when you come to Amasaman and its environs, he is doing about close to 80% of our roads. Is the same contractor who is working on them.
I see.
Yes. So once he leaves the site, everything
It comes to a standstill.
Yes.
So it's a case of a Konongo kayak type of situation.
Exactly so.
I see. Well,
but he's the same person working on I can do to Otuaple Road.
And what's the state of that road?
But that one is even terrible than my own.
Wow.
Very, very terrible. In fact, it should be an eyesore for you to even come there to witness it yourself.
So what do you think is the reason why, for doing such a terrible job and showing such a terrible display of work, he's still been awarded more contracts, and nobody's taking anything away from him?
Brother, I don't know who. I'm not sure I'm the person to even answer that question. I don't know what informed.
No, I'm just wondering if you have any opinions on the matter.
I don't have, please. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
All right.
In fact, I want to put one thing across.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes. You know, the number of people living in Amasaman as we speak. But I'm basing my arguments on the 2020 voter registration.
Okay.
You know that we are the third largest constituency when it comes to the numbers voting age bracket. We are the third largest.
In Accra?
And even with this current recent census that was carried out, even though most of our people were not even counted, we are one of the highest in the whole country. So that presupposes that development should be geared towards this area.
Yeah.
But the place is fast developing to the extent that people, when you come here, the structures and buildings that you see here, that people are not occupying just because of these roads.
Yeah.
And we are still under feeder roads.
Okay.
We are still under feeder roads. And I am sure that is also part of the problem that we are facing.
I see. All right. Honorable, thank you very much for speaking to us.
You're welcome.
All right. So we've been speaking with Honorable Charles Abusah, who is an assembly member of the Amasaman electoral area over in Amasaman. All right. So it seems that basically somebody has decided that those people are not higher up on the pecking order, so they should wait
should take their
till
time.
whenever.
They should pipe down.
Yeah.
But you see, who determines
Those things.
who belongs where
Yeah.
on the so-called pecking order? I mean, who even created the pecking order? Of course, we can't fix every problem and every challenge,
Yeah.
let alone every road in the country at the same time. But where's the timetable? Where is the planning?
Yeah.
And where is the prioritization
That's the issue.
based on statistics, based on situations that are real on the ground, a knowledge of those situations? Where's the planning and all of that? So we know that, okay, it's likely that between January and March 2022, that would put us within the first quarter.
Yeah.
We have X amount of cities, maybe 2 million cities, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to use for roads. I mean, 2 million cities is woefully inadequate, but
yeah.
I'm just throwing figures out there, right? Hypothetically.
Last week, Engineer Muhammad told us that it will take about 3.5 million to do a kilometer of
It's
like
expensive.
A quality road.
It's expensive. Now, assuming we got that, right? If we get 2 million cities for January to March, and we've earmarked this 200 cities, it's encumbered for road construction, then what are we going to do? Are we going to this community, this constituency, this part of the country? At this point, it's not raining here, so we may want to start from here. But where is the plan?
Yeah.
Where's the plan?
Yeah.
If there's one, we want to know because we don't see one. Maybe we don't know.
Yeah.
We're speaking amiss, but we want to know.
Yeah.
Because with these things, you can't just go in firefighting. Oh, they said there are potholes here, we are going here. Oh, this road is bad, we're moving here. Oh, we got some, let's go here. No, there must be a plan.
And a plan shouldn't be hidden.
Absolutely not, especially since we
be
have something called the Year of Roads.
Yeah.
2021 was year
It should
one,
be
2022 is year
laid bare
two.
for us to
So if
see
we
clearly,
have
and then we can see
years
the
of
progress.
roads, right? There's a program, there's a campaign like that, there's a project like that, then all the more reason why we should be able to see the trajectory of the plan. Of course, plans are not cast in stone.
No.
So maybe the money you're expecting for the first 3 projects in the year, it didn't come. How are you regrouping? How are you restructuring?
Yeah.
What's the plan B, the plan C, all the way to plan Z? What is it? What are they? And then maybe perennial rains.
Yes.
It's climate change, so we didn't
patterns
expect
may
it to be
change.
raining in October, but it's raining.
Yeah.
And so because of that, a road we wanted to do here, we can't do it at this point. Okay, where can we move if we remobilize?
Yeah.
You know, we want to hear and see some of these things.
Yeah.
Because roads are an integral part of our lives.
Yeah.
Because they've aided our transportation on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Again, there's the economic factor which we spoke about. And let's not forget that it's not everybody in this town or in this country who owns a car. So you are relying on public transportation. Yesterday we were talking
Even
about
that was another matter.
GPRTU and the prices rising
Yeah.
and whatnot. And if you remember, when we spoke to the rep from GPRTU,
Yeah.
and he's very right, it's not just fuel prices that push
Yeah.
the prices of
Spare parts,
transportation
all of
up.
that.
You have to do vehicle maintenance, especially if you are keeping or manning what do you call it, a commercial vehicle, right? Now, we've complained about what some of our commercial vehicles look like and how they are death traps. But how do you prevent them from happening? It's maintenance.
Yeah.
So your shocks need to be in order, your brakes, brake pads, and if you're running a commercial vehicle, it's even more. So for any business, once you're using something commercially, the pressure on it
Becomes
as a resource becomes more. It's not just you and your family members using it in your house.
Yeah.
You know, you can't control how somebody sits in the car. You can, you need to drive on roads that you probably wouldn't have liked to drive on because that's where your customer, your client wants to go or has to go.
Yeah.
So the worse our roads, the more likely you are to have some of these challenges. And it will affect us directly in our food prices, in our transportation prices, in our health care and accessibility of it.
Yeah.
Have we not seen situations where people have died on the way, unfortunately, died on the way to a health facility because a trip that should have been 5 minutes long is taking 20 minutes. And those 20 minutes are precious enough time
You will lose your
between life and death.
Yeah.
Women giving birth on the road, women having miscarriages because of a bad road.
Yeah.
Look, when you are pregnant, that's when you know that potholes and bad roads exist. I'm telling you, because you feel everything.
Yeah.
You feel everything here. And then imagine, so a woman still needs to, single mother, for example, or she's lost her spouse, or maybe she just needs to work her way through life, has to go to market, has to do her antenatal. Look, it's not a joke.
No.
We're dealing with real human beings, with real problems, real situations, and we're treating it like it's an Anansi story, quick Anansi story that we sit down and then we tire this and we do totally, we tell stories. No. These are real human beings, real lives, Ghanaians.
Yeah.
2022. We're still talking about roads that, like I say, look like the moon.
Craters.
Yes.
Yeah. Your road looks as if it's being hit by a meteorite.
Yes, because so we can say we can gladly say that we've been to space.
Yeah,
we can rub shoulders with the US and with Russia and with Elon Musk. We've been to space because we've seen craters in real time. Keep saying this. Other places like Owari, the roads, I don't know, right? So let's figure out what we want to do, what our plan is in terms of a development plan. Where does road infrastructure fit in there? You know, what does it mean? What does it mean financially? What does it mean socially?
Yeah.
What does it mean economically? So not just the funding of the road, but now in the biggest sphere of the economy. What does that mean for us? And then let's have a plan and follow it through.
Yeah.
So we don't have to come and sit here every morning and be listening to depressing stories about people and their road challenges.
Well, I mean, as long as the authorities don't do what they're supposed to do, as for us, we'll shine a light on it. We'll talk about it. We'll make sure that we expose those that need to be exposed.
Yes, and we hope that there will come a day when it doesn't have to be as rampant.
Yeah, yeah.
That it's a one-off. Why do we have to be talking about road infrastructure every
single
day?
Yeah.
Why?
Anyway, well, on to happier things. Let me just wish a few birthday messages here. And so if you haven't sent yours in already, I don't know what you're waiting for. Happy birthday to everyone that's celebrating their birthday today, the 25th of October. Now, happy birthday to my super mummy, Madam Jemima Love Boache. Thank you so much for all the love and consistent attention that you have shown all of us in our lives. God bless you. Wait, Are you 64 today or 46? My Yomo Begam, I love you. From your forever baby girl, Samuela. All right, so a beautiful
That's a
message
beautiful
there.
message.
Yeah.
And I have one here as well.
Okay.
So this is from, happy birthday to my king, Kobna Esa. May the Lord guide you and satisfy you with good things. May this new age mark the beginning of greater and pleasant surprises in your life. You will be like a garden that has plenty of water, like a spring of water that never runs dry. Yes, you are destined for greatness, Kobna. Lots of love from your wife, Joan, and the boys, Lyle and Asher.
Beautiful.
Today people are
Beautiful.
waxing poetically.
Oh yeah, it's nice. I like it. I like it. I like it.
You have some more.
Yeah, I do. I do have one more that I want to read here. This one, it says, happy birthday, Asha Opong Nash. May your blessings always be endless. This is coming from your mom, Khadija Aziz Nash. All right, happy birthday to you. And if you haven't sent yours, you know the number is 0550585832. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Breakfast Daily will continue.